November 29, 1990. Under grey skies in New York, representatives from 15 countries meet to vote on United Nations Security Council Resolution 678. If passed, it will bring the world to the brink of war. Resolution 678 concerns the invasion of Kuwait. 300,000 Iraqi troops have swept into the tiny but immensely wealthy sheikhdom. This occupation began almost 4 months ago with a lightning-fast military invasion. The Iraqi leader, Saddam Hussein, had accused Kuwait of siphoning oil from the oil fields located along their shared border.
Throughout 1990, Saddam Hussein claims that the Kuwaiti authorities are doing what is called slant drilling for oil, which basically meant that the drilling starts on the Kuwaiti side of the border, but goes beneath the ground on a 45-degree angle onto the Iraqi side of the border, essentially stealing Iraq's oil.
There was another really important issue, and that is that during the war with Iran, Kuwait supported Iraq in the tune of $12 billion. And of course, Kuwaitis thought that that was a loan. He was not really prepared to pay any of that money back.
Hussein also believed that Kuwait and Iraq should be united as one nation under his leadership.
As far as Saddam Hussein and many Iraqis were concerned, Kuwait should have always been part of Iraq. At one point during the Ottoman Empire, Kuwait was administered from Baghdad. Iraq had never really recognized the border between Kuwait and Iraq as international border.
Hussein's troops moved fast. By daybreak, they had forced the Kuwait army into retreat. The Iraq armed forces were battle-hardened after years of fighting the Iran-Iraq war.
So it just finished a couple of years earlier. It cost hundreds of thousands of lives on both sides. But out of it, the Iraqi army had become more organized, more professional, better led, better equipment.
Kuwait's leader, Emir Sheikh Jaber al-Sabah, fled to Saudi Arabia, fearing for his life. By noon, Saddam Hussein controlled 1/5 of the world's oil. The governments of the United States and Britain denounced the invasion, along with 12 of the 21 members of the Arab League, the regional alliance of Arab states.
They are staunch friends and allies, and we will be working with them all for collective action. This will not stand. This will not stand, this aggression against Kuwait.
Most of the political class within the capitals of major Middle Eastern states were opposed to Saddam Hussein's invasion of Kuwait, and with good reason, because if it was allowed to stand, it could be them next. And certainly for the really important player here, I guess, is Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia's King Fahd feared that the next move would be to take the Saudi oil fields. This would leave Iraq in control of over 40% of the world's oil reserves. Along with Kuwait's government in exile, he turned to the United States for support. US President George H.W. Bush decided he had to act. He was supported by British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher.
She was pretty forthright in her opinions, and as soon as she'd heard about the Iraqi invasion, she immediately sent some British ships across the Gulf in preparation for an attack against Iraq. She encouraged President George H.W. Bush to be strong and forthright in his response.
None of us can do it separately. We need a collective and effective will of the nations belonging to the United Nations.
Within days, British and US fighter planes began to arrive in Saudi Arabia, marking the start of a massive military build-up in the area.